Okay, so today I'd like to showcase a very cool new deck I've come up with, featuring a new card, Atraxa Grand Unifier. One has a lot of text. It's a mana cost doesn't matter here. 7/7 Flying Vigilance Death Touch Lifelink. When it enters, you can reveal a top 10 and take one from each card type. So we don't have battles in this deck, but we do have most of the traditional card types. Um, Importantly, those would be enchantments, being Omniscience and Dream Halls, the main idea of this deck. So this is a Omni Show deck, but one of the big problems with Omni Show is that it doesn't have enough consistency to consistently put in Omniscience, so it has to put in something like Emrakul. Now the big problem with that is that uh, the probably best deck in the format, Initiative, is a Solitude Touch the Spirit Realms deck. Uh, Pretty good against a card with protection from spells that are one or more colors. So this first deck gets to be a lot better against Initiative since it can consistently put in something that isn't Emrakul. Grizzlebrand is maybe a little bit better against that, but it's still not great. The reason we have Emrakul in this deck at all is because it's not very good to put in, but it is a very nice card to actually cast. You can't cast it with Dreamhalls, but you can cast it with Omniscience. It's kind of like a final win con. When this deck goes off, let's actually read Dreamhalls here. So you put Dreamhalls into play, either for 5 mana or for 3 mana, um, and rather than pay the mana cost for a spell, to control may discard a card that shares a color with it. So in that case, this is going to be a blue card, because every card in this deck is blue, with the exception of Grizzlebrand and Emrakul, which is, of course, definitely some anti-synergy, but we cast those with Omniscience, or just put them directly into play with the most important card in this deck, Show and Tell. Probably familiar with this one. Put anything, not instant or sorcery, into play. Um, and in this deck, you have uh, 14, kind of 18 targets for it. Traditional Emrakul and Grizzlebrand aren't very good in this deck since they're not blue. So we play one of each because it's still kind of nice. But instead we play Atraxa, of course. Progenitus, which is uh, also another card that beats Solitude. Very relevant card. This deck is definitely constructed to beat it. And Nicol Bolas Planeswalker, which is probably not one you've seen. So if your opponent puts in any non-creature permanent, you can +3 immediately to destroy it. To put in any creature, you can -2 immediately to gain control of it. So Nicol Bolas kind of negates the downside of Show and Tell perfectly, at the same time as just being like a massive threat. Non-creature permanent doesn't say non-land, so this thing will just, against decks that don't need creatures, just take every one of their lands. Most decks can't win through that. And against decks that do need creatures, it just takes the creatures. So like against Delver, you just take the 8/8 Murktide. They're not going to beat that. You can bolt it, it doesn't matter. Now they lose to that. And against Doomsday, just, oop, that's my land, that's my land. It should be pretty effective. Of course, the nice thing about it is that it is Dream Hollowable, as with Atraxa. So the real goal of this deck is to get down an Omniscience or a Dream Halls, and then from there you just pretty much immediately win. Uh, I've never whiffed with the combo after getting it off, like probably 10 times at this point. It basically Atraxa adds so much consistency to the deck. Another card that adds a lot of consistency is Seagate Restoration, which in most decks it's in is just a land or a blue card. But in this deck, the text is very relevant. So this card will effectively double your hand size since it takes account the one card you're going down to play it. So mana cost doesn't actually matter. you can double your hand size with Omniscience and Dream Halls, and then it can be like you can have 10, go up to 20, and go up to 40, and then 80. It actually becomes a problem sometimes. You might draw your entire deck. So you can always just intuition adds a lot of consistency also if you're going for the combo because you can just intuition for. Usually, what I've found is Emrakul will be lethal, so you go for Emrakul, Grizzlebrand if you're at high enough life total, or just two Atraxas. And if they give you an Emrakul, you win. And if they don't, you just shuffle everything back in. Because what Emrakul does, which means you can. There's no like limit to how many times you can intuition. Like the third intuition isn't any worth because all the intuitions just shuffle pretty much. Um, Force of Will, of course, is staple to all blue decks. We have some mana acceleration and mana base, and basic lands. This deck could pretty easily splash another color, but it just doesn't need to actually. Like, there's not really any hit cards you need to answer, and against combo, you're in the best color already, and against creatures, your plan is just to combo off. Sideboard, this deck, like I said, is pretty targeted to be initiative. So 4 subtlety, 4 force of will, and a fast combo, they can't disrupt. This deck is very good against initiative. Um, and then we have mostly things to force our combo through in Flusterstorm or Besieger or interact with fast combo. Brazen Borrowers, like I said, there's not that many hit cards that actually impact this deck, so it's more kind of removal for like Merit Lage. It's kind of a generally good card for when there's something we want to board out. And Hydroblast, of course, mostly for countering Pyroblast. Because Pyroblast is pretty good against our 5-drop blue card payoff and our very important 3-drop blue card payoff. So yeah, that's the deck. It is very consistent, given it has so many tutors. It's pretty fast. It's not like a fast combo deck, I would say, but it's not slow. Tutors and cantrips are a good recipe to having a consistent combo deck, and when this one goes off, it usually wins through a decent bit of interaction. So, let's see if I can get a game. Alright, looks like we got an opponent. And we're gonna be on the draw. This deck definitely likes to be on the play. It's a combo deck. Um, this looks like a pretty fast combo. Not gonna mulligan it. You can always just intuition for force of will if this is a matchup for that. It is not. This is probably gonna be a pretty good matchup. I guess the plan will be maybe Nicol Bolas, maybe Grizzlebrand on the show and tell. I'd like to bluff as long as possible, so I'll just play Prismatic Ending. Now, as long as possible will only be one turn in this case. And Basic Island also bluffs. Mostly the same thing as Prismatic Vista. But right now this really looks like a control deck. Maybe Merfolk it probably seems. Whatever they play here will be confirmation. Yep, Merfolk. Makes sense. We'd love to draw an Omniscience. Force of Will is not bad. This is sometimes a Daze deck. Also sometimes a Stifle deck, but that's not very common. So I will just fetch now. We're mostly out of islands. This deck could play 5 islands, and less fetches. It depends how good you want your cantrips to be versus how able you want to be to go into a long game off of only basics. This deck does want to cast 5 drops, only 4 mana producing fetchables is a little awkward. So we don't have to make our decision what to do here now, but there's basically no way we're not going to go for a protected show and tell. I don't know if a deck can actually beat Atraxa. or Grizzlebrand? Probably not. Probably more likely they can be a who. More likely they can be a Grizzlebrand just by racing. So let's see if that's the situation we're in. Given that, I'll go for Atraxa, I believe. Of course, gonna play Intuition as just a tutor. If we could play a 3-mana demonic tutor, this deck would certainly play that instead. But we are stuck with Intuition, so we will play. I will play Round Days. Ooh, we drew the perfect card. Alright, this will be the turn 3 win if it works. They have 3 cards, so it's going to be pretty hard for it not to work with Force Protection. They do have the Force. We also have the Force. Let's see. They have a second Force? They do not. Really should not concede there. Not only are they not guaranteed to lose at all, but they would have gained quite a bit of information because I would have showed them most of my deck with Atraxa, which does reveal the top 10. Interesting matchup. We don't really have things for creature decks because we're so good against them in the first place. I might want Flusterstorm for their forces. Might want Subtlety, but probably not. Could always Brazen Bar at the Vial, but we want to go unfair. I think the only thing I'm really considering is Flusterstorm. Sometimes that deck has Chalice of the Void. Flusterstorm is not a dead card through Chalice of the Void. And given that, I think I'll cut 2 cantrips for 2 Flusterstorms. Cantrips probably being Ponders. Preordain's really good in this deck just for hitting land drops. We don't have many shuffles to make Ponder really good. Could be Brainstorms. We were hoping they would mull pretty low, looking for an answer. Similar hand we had last time. Dual land, Intuition. Definitely going to keep again. It worked well last time. We'll be more prepared for it this time, though. Same exact start. This game's going to look pretty similar to last game. Well, with Omniscience, Emrakul. It's a pretty nice combo. I'm going to continue to make them think we might have white they should play around. The 2 versions of this deck are usually either white or... Ooh, 1-lander. A lot of interaction, that means. Usually the versions of this deck are either white or red. And I think the white version is more relevant, but Prismatic Bending could be either. Prismatic Beasting could be either, it's played in both. Yes, I will be intuitioning here. Don't stifle me. Looks like we're good. They daze, they daze. Deck is definitely not always daze, but it is sometimes. They also would probably save the days. We're just going to do the same thing we did last time. Get a show and tell in the hand. It's not perfect. We don't love getting 2 of our best card out of our deck. But it's what it is. I'm actually going to fetch first because fetching post Preordain is pretty awkward. We're gonna need another land, so we're gonna preordain for lands and force of will here pretty much. Um, Brainstorm is decent at getting lands. Um, but I would really love just to shove a show and tell on a stack next turn. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of Brainstorm. Brainstorm is not as good in this deck as it is in a lot of decks. There's a land, plays through days even. Yeah, they have a clock. They have a lot. If they have a force of will here, we very well might be in trouble. Let's hope they don't. They could race some stuff, but they definitely can't race this hand. This hand just wins as soon as show and tell resolves. I only have one show and tell left in my deck. I still have 4 Dream Halls, which I might have mana to cast next turn. But yeah, nothing to do here but see if they have a force. And if they do, we probably lose. We don't, we definitely win. Could be Flusterstorm. Days? Double days. Okay. Double days will probably do it. So we definitely know there are days version now. It's very good to know. We got pretty top end flooded this game. We only have 14 in our deck. So that's half of the ones that are in our deck. We can still just draw our last show and tell off the top and win. Let's see if we do it. Could still be here. Now we'd lose to days. Nope. Oh wait, no, we have. No, we don't have a land drop since we will go to 0 life if we do it that way. Yep. Double days beat us this game. It's good to know there are days version. We still haven't seen them play a 1-drop, so they probably are playing Chalice. I don't love Boseiju against an aggro Wasteland deck, but knowing they're on days for sure, I think I'll bring it in. Over one of the fatties. Probably Grizzlebrand is not very good in this matchup. I mean, you saw there, Grizzlebrand would have done anything at all. Okay. Yeah, we can keep this hand. We're hoping that we can get to a show and tell. I mean, this is just potentially a turn 2. But like, if we're stuck going for Dream Halls, that should still probably race them. Obviously, days is a consideration. Island Ponder. It's a good start. Any deck. This does not have mana, which we need. It doesn't have show and tell. It has force though, which is a pretty important card in the matchup. Regardless, I'm gonna shuffle. Point from isn't terrible. It's not good. Get rid of some of these extra cards. Our plan is just Dream Hall, Omniscience, discarding Omniscience, Atraxa, and that is going to be enough to win 9 times out of 10. There's the extra mana. Unfortunately, 4 colors blue does not cast Dream Halls, so we do still not have a particularly fast win. They are a days deck. I believe I will play this brainstorm on days and actually just pass. There isn't much we could do. I mean, we could draw into blue land plus cantrip, but that's pretty situational. I'd rather get rid of some of these dead cards. They haven't done anything, which means they must have an interactive hand. So I'm not going to go for an aggressive brainstorm here. Ooh, well that's nice. Well, we can afford to just get the first force out of the way this way. Um, yeah, that seems reasonable. They have like a days reliant hand. I mean, I don't know why they'd keep a no aggressive, no hard counter hand. So I'm assuming they're gonna have a counter. It seems not. Oh, I should have not let him know what I was gonna put in. Definitely, that was a mistake. Ah, hex catcher. Well, that's not gonna be enough. That only does non-creature spells, so I'll just go ahead and win here. Likelihood I don't win is incredibly low, especially with 3 cards. I can double that a few times. I was almost a whiff, but then last second there we hit the intuition, which is what we're looking for. Only Planeswalker our deck is Nicol Bolas, so that'll always be a hit. I mean, always be the Kirby grab. It's instant Planeswalker, sorcery, land, enchantment. Alright, there conceded. It's important to put the cards that aren't going to matter, like the other Omniscience, in your hand because of the fact that you can double your hand size. They can really add up. Yeah, we play against a creature deck. Usually a pretty easy win, unless we play against like exactly Delver. Delver's not amazing, but it's also not bad. This deck's like Delver but worse. Alright, valid opponent. See how this goes. Going to play this time. Can't keep a no-lander. True no-lander. This looks pretty good. Keep a cantrip of an Atraxa. Okay, hopefully they'll buy that Island Preordained is a control start, but they'll probably realize that it's some sort of deck like this. Some control decks play Preordained. Without your no, it's pretty rare. I don't want Ancient Tomb. I think I can afford to force a pull here. And up. Ooh, alright. If they play like Trials of the Void, I just let it resolve. I have the combo. Okay, it's initiative. Play a 4-drop. Well, I think I am going to force this. I just have it all right now. I will let them initiative next turn, which I assume was their plan with Spellbinder protect with initiative. But really they should have bluffed with the initiative because Spellbinder is so much better here. I don't really care if I take the initiative next turn, I'll just get Atraxa. So yeah, let's do that. That's the plan. Hopefully I'll draw Ooh, they paused. Maybe they didn't expect the Ancient Tomb. Yeah, it seems like that surprised them. They pitched Solitude, so I think the Ancient Tomb was a surprise to them. Palace Jailer. Yeah, they definitely don't know what this matchup is. Not a problem with me. 7/7 Flying Vigilance Death Touch Lifelink. Pretty good at taking the Monarchy. Give a second one, I guess. Intuition. It's been interesting that we have never had a show and tell. We've always had the intuition. We have less intuitions than we do show and tells in our deck. Okay. Ooh, we drew a force. Not that that does anything. They put in Solitude. Then they put in Solitude. I'll gain 7 life. Maybe they'll put in Thalia and think I have an Omniscience. I shouldn't have played a land, actually. So they'd be more likely to do that. They're not going to have days or any days-like effect. Let's see what they got. Anointed Peacekeeper. Interesting. Now they happen to be the card client. So since they are the non-active player, they should be able to place their trigger. Yeah. They might name like a cantrip here. They might name Show and Tell. I only have one left in my deck. The plan now is kind of just land Dreamhall's win next turn, and they don't have an answer to Atraxa. And they did Enforce. I don't think that's really necessary. I mean, well, there's the Dream Hall. Obviously, that's the card I'm looking for here, so I'll take it. Only one instant, so obviously I'll take it. Land, I don't need 1, 2, 3, 4. I can take a regular land. I can take a dual land. They don't have days. They're not going to have Wasteland. I'll just take a regular land. There's one option for sorcery and one option for creatures. It was a pretty easy. Atraxa. So yeah, it'll just be next turn we get we'll see. Probably a win. Not necessarily. This costs 2 more to cast. Peacekeeper is decent against my deck. I'm hoping they're not a Chalice of the Void version, because Chalice of the Void is like the best card in their deck against my deck. Touch Spirit Realm, go ahead. Atraxa was not the plan here. Two cards left though. You should be pretty over. I don't want to draw on. I'll fetch now. Maybe I should have taken that city just for life total consideration. Fetch takes me down 1 life. Yeah, that probably makes sense. But yeah, here's the Dream Halls. Our goal here is going to be to get an Omniscience into play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Emrakul does eat everything. So we can just Intuition discard Force for 3 Omnisciences. And then Omniscience discard Seagate, cast Emrakul. So yes, that will be the play. We don't really like giving our opponent an option with Intuition. Here we see Seagate Restoration, not being a regular land, winning us a game. And we probably could have won without, but it would have been not as clean. They could have Solitude as their last card. They do not. Okay. Yeah, this matchup is pretty amazing. You saw we won there through Touch Spirit Realm. It's pretty tricky for regular. So entitled, well, pretty possible if they have the Omniscience, but obviously we have that twice as often. Subtleties for this matchup, nothing else is particularly good. You could consider Brazen Byra, especially if you think they're on Chalice. I definitely won't play until I've seen the Chalice. But I will prepare for Chalice a little bit. Shave some Ponders, I believe. Nicol seems pretty medium. Same with Grizzlebrand. Um, I'll shave Grizzlebrand simply for not being blue. I'll shave some Ponders for being 1-drops. And I think the last cut, maybe Dream Halls for being a little slow. Maybe Progenitus for being a little slow. I think they can race Progenitus a decent amount of the time. It does take the initiative though. And the Monarchy. Yeah, I'll just cut a Dream Halls. Alright. A little trickier on the draw. 3 lands, a cantrip, a force, and an Emrakul. This is keepable. We're in a bit of trouble to like Chalice. I'll try to aggressively let something resolve if it's just like not that good. Elite Spellbinder is certainly not that good here. It is a 3 power clock. They can just take Brainstorm. I think force pitch force makes the most sense if I'm pitching something. It's tricky. I could just go for double force here, actually. Leave that as an option. Double force is pretty good against the initiative, especially on a Lotus Petal start. Okay, yeah, I'll do double force. We do another cantrip, which is pretty great here. Our plan is just to force their next threat. Hope they're out of steam at that point. This ponder is looking for the combo. This is not the combo. I've chosen a very aggressive strategy for this game. We'll see if it pays out. We have the lands, so we're not punished for pitching the Seagate. We can always just brainstorm next turn, not force, which is what we're hoping for. Perfect. Oops. Blue card? Ooh, well, that's certainly a blue card. I'm not sure it's worth it to risk a show and tell here, honestly. I mean, as discussed, this deck has a lot of answers to the exact line of show and tell Emrakul, and I would rather not play into them and when they have no pressure on us, and our deck is very good at beating those lines. So I will just go for a brainstorm here. The second they put pressure on, I'm gonna have to go for it, and we'll see if it wins then. For now, I can dig deeper. 4 mana probably means nothing. Wow. Okay. I will be brainstorming here. There's no reason not to. I don't really need force anymore. Um, that also is a card that I do not need. Um, yeah, I'll just keep all the action nonetheless. Aven Mind Sensor. This is not a card I was expecting. I don't actually care. I can definitely just let that resolve. Oh, well, actually, I have. An island on top. Hmm. Yeah, it's a little awkward. No way to unshuffle. Um, reveal the top four. So it was Island, Ancient Tomb, and two more. It'll be an island, and then I guess the rest just gets shuffled. Wow, I don't think I've ever played against an Aven Mind Sensor. That or something I guess I should have been prepared for. Should play a little slower. Okay. Let's hope I just draw an Omniscience. Wow. Okay. I mean, I'm not complaining. A word for my patience. And like I said, this deck has a very, very good initiative matchup. One of the big reasons to play it. Alright. We have another game right here. You don't have to wait for it at all. There's a bit of a wait I'm going to be cutting out for the last game. Oh, is this the person I played against last time? Is this the person I just played against? It is. It's going to be initiative again. A good matchup again, or maybe I'll play a different deck. Part of the trick with going right back into a game. See how this goes. I mean, won't complain if they're just playing initiative again. Sound looks great. Now on the play. Turn 3 combo, Force of Will backup. And we're only comboing for Progenitus for now, but we have plenty of draws and a cantrip. I will just pitch Progenitus. I don't really want to have to Progenitus. Either preordain for something else. I'm gonna guess they're playing initiative again. Maybe they recognize this is a bad matchup, recognize them probably playing the same deck, and pick a different deck though. They did indeed. Goblin Welder. Well, my deck doesn't have any removal spells in it. Goblin Welder is a pretty good card. I think I'm probably gonna force this. Obviously it's Painter. Do I think Painter can race my deck? And does Painter have relevant interaction if Pyroblast? Yeah, I should force while Pyroblast is not available. This is a really tricky play. I would love to force the Welder. I'd also love not to lose to a Pyroblast later though. And I think this deck can race their deck. So I'm actually just going to let it resolve. This does mean it'll be pretty impossible to actually counter any of their things they go for later, any of their combos, so we are set into just racing. Omniscience is a pretty good card given that we're racing. I'll go for just preordain, hit something that is good to play with Omniscience, such as Intuition. I don't need the second force. I can't really afford to force again. Maybe I can. Yeah. I'll force again. I can force pitch Progenitus. No, I really can't. Okay. So next turn. But that was turn 1, of course. I knew that. There's the painter. I mean, I'm definitely not going to force it. One nice thing about my deck is I do happen to have Emrakul. Oh, sorry. I do happen to have Emrakul and two Progenitus in my deck. Makes it pretty hard to get milled by Grindstone. See if they remember that. Or actually, they just always can see it before they would have seen. So, oh, there's the Emrakul, which is not great. Definitely prefer to have that one in my deck. Well, it's nice to have to actually win with, but not nice to have to lose with. Anyways, intuition is going to be for show and tell, of course. And then next turn I can show and tell, force the Power Blast. Hope that's good enough. Oh, every card is blue. That actually means just like a Power Blast. But they don't have mana for double Power Blast, so I feel pretty comfortable with this game now. Here's the intuition. Should probably, yeah, they obviously have a Power Blast here. They could Power Blast City of Traders after I reveal what I'm getting. And that actually puts me in a pretty awkward spot. Oh no, I'll just force the Power Blast. So yeah, I'm definitely just gonna get show and tells. I don't know how I can lose this game. I don't know how I can lose this matchup, but this game especially. Let's see if they go for the Power Blast and Sea of Traders right now. This is their chance. Right, if they can do it on upkeep. Come on, play around Force of Negation. Forcible can totally pitch Prismatic Vista right now. They have Power Blast. I mean, I feel like I've played, so they should know for sure I have a Force. So not using Power Blast there seems probably incorrect. Regardless, let's just show and tell Omniscience. Mountain? Yeah. That can Power Blast twice. Okay, they can see it. This opponent's definitely conceding early. So the way I lose this game is to construct beatdown. I lose the Urza's Saga, just the card. I can lose the construct beatdown, I can lose the 8 fetching Grave Hate. If you read Genitus, shuffle into his owner's library instead. Whereas Emrakul generates a trigger. So Grave Hate doesn't actually beat Progenitus. You can't mill me out with Progenitus in my deck. I have two of them. So I don't know how I can possibly lose this matchup. I mean, it seems incredibly difficult. You'd think maybe the Power Blast matchup would not be good, but it's actually very good. Obviously I'll just take these Hydro Blasts. Better than some cantrips. Probably. Maybe better than Dream Halls. 5-drop. Uh, that makes sense. Dream Halls is not like the best card in this deck. It's just a very reasonable card in this deck. It does a lot of things. I don't think we've seen it yet, but it does just function as another omniscience when you're show and telling sometimes. Quite a lot of the time actually. One of its main functions. Don't like having Pajamas in my hand, which I could draw a second, which makes it actually possible to lose. Cantrips aren't great against their fast combo. But like Dream Halls discard Progenitus, cast Secret Restoration is a plan. I'm not gonna mulligan a reasonable 7-card hand. This is the type of hand I could lose with, though. Mox Opal. Hold up Pyroblast, I would assume. I don't really care if they have Pyroblast, though. Like, I really just simply do not. Pyroblast the cantrip. They just will lose to the combo. If they Pyroblast the combo, then I'll just combo again, because they can't really kill me. If they don't play exactly Ursa Saga next turn, I feel very comfortable with this game. Given this Preordain, I feel pretty comfortable with the game in general. Go for a combo next turn. They tap out. Shouldn't matter which order I do these cards in. I guess we'll leave the Show and Tell. Show and Tell is the less important card here, I think. So I'll actually just put Hydro Blast into hand in case they like make me shuffle Ghost Quarter. I don't know, like we playing would make that decision matter. Splash Black Thoughtseize. They did play the other saga. That is the one thing that can possibly beat me here. But they tapped out, which is what I was hoping for. Okay. So I'll just go for. Well, I'll go for probably winning next turn. We'll see exactly how it goes. Wait, they just concede when I cast Show and Tell? Yeah, this opponent definitely concedes way too early. But I did have the win there. Alright. 3-0. See? Opponent. It's the same opponent from earlier. That's probably not going to make the video, but they joined my game earlier and left. So, hopefully this goes better. We're in the game. It's a good start. Already better than it was last time. Ooh, 20. Usually either a great sign or a terrible sign. Let's see which one it is. It's not a 0-lander, it's a 1-lander. But it's a 1-lander with no cantrips. I don't think I can keep. On the play. I mean, on draw, a bad keep, but like, discussable. Dream Hall hand. We can do Dream Hall, Ponder, Force Atraxa. I think it's got to be a land that goes back here. Atraxa is just like the best thing with Dream Hall. Land will be. We have more non-dual lands than dual lands. Sea of Prayers is pretty awkward. If it was an Ancient Tomb, I'd put back a another land. It might be just Sea of Prayers here. Force is pitching Dream Halls. Maybe Atraxa depending on the matchup. And God, this is tricky. I really need to back the City of Treasures. I just can't. Okay. Island, Ponder, Emoji. Nope. Wait. Yeah, no. Whew. Okay. Show and Tell, Omniscience. Wishing I kept the City of Traders, but nothing to do for it now. I'll keep Show and Tell not here, so it won't be revealed. Omniscience is the least important card. Next I'll draw Omniscience, so I can pitch it. Then Seagate. Okay. That was a pretty good ponder. Blue deck. Delver. Blue fetch. Crack immediately. It's probably Delver. Not Delver, say that much. Oh, and they're revealing to me that they're a weird blue deck that doesn't have days right now. Definitely shouldn't. I'll play around Wasteland. White decks usually have Wasteland. I don't know what's happening here. I won't crack this, like, at all. There's basically nothing that can make me crack this. I'd rather Force of Will than crack this, I think. Just like a white deck. White blue deck. What is this? I mean, it could just be control, but why would they fetch planes like that? It's such a strange thing to do. I'm definitely gonna go for the win next turn with Force backup. It's probably just sloppy play. Tapped out of blue mana, so all I have to worry about is Force. So all we have to worry about is double Force. So we have the first beat. This shouldn't be a Daze deck. It could be a Stoneforge Mystic deck. Force of Negation, Pitch, Brainstorm. Okay. Well, I have a Triumph of St. Catherine beat. Let's. Okay. Sure. Very incredibly unlikely to matter. Yep, that's the reason it doesn't matter. And there's the other reason it doesn't matter. Let's see. You can just do Intuition Emrakul here for lethal. Nothing else matters. I guess look at it. Okay. This is the matchup for Boseiju. May or may not have Wasteland. Probably not. This looks like it's Jeskai. I'm not confident enough it's Jeskai to bring in Hydroblast, but it's probably Jeskai. I will bring in Plaster Storms, obviously. Against this deck, Emrakul is pretty good. Progenitus is pretty good. Progenitus is not great against St. Cath. I don't know if Nicol Bolas is where I want to be at. They probably don't have any removal for it, though. You can just still end every turn. This is tricky. I'm not really sure what to board. I love cantrips. I love dream halls. It's just extra consistency. I mean, the only things here to cut are consistency.
Alright.
The entire deck only does one
Last
thing, or
opponent.
protection. I don't think I'm gonna cut Force of Will. And Grizzlebound is always just the worst. See if we can get the 5-0. This deck seems very good. So it's a pretty good worst payoff in this matchup. Gonna be on the play with a show and tell counter force. Quit the game. Lands. Perfect. Not quite perfect. Well, I guess I can count that as 4-0. I would say this is equivalent to playing in the tournament practice room on MPGO. So it probably doesn't mean quite as much, especially when one of my opponents just quit after game 1. But I've been incredibly impressed with the deck in general, just how it's playing. Island Ponder. Part the force if this is a combo deck. I need what? I need something to show and tell. Do I want to keep Preordained because it is something to show and tell? No. Much better. Well, this looks like the start of a non-combo deck, okay? Perfect, Painter. I don't think it's fair that much usually. As we discussed, I don't care about Painter combo. Go ahead. Dream Halls. That's a thing to show and tell. Draw an Atraxa to be worth it, really. Should be a very good matchup. Intuition, we have time. I'll go for the intuition. Do I want the brainstorm? Intuition's just gonna get Atraxa. I go for the Dream Halls. This is not a wasteland deck. Yeah, I'll just go for letting the Windy one turn faster if I draw something. Yeah, sure, go ahead. I'm not gonna force. Not when I have Emrakul in my deck. Oh. Now they kept the Ancient Tomb Guardstone Painter's Root. That's I don't think it's a good keep in the unknown, unless the hand's good. Very good. Because that is not a good hand against Wasteland. Oh, they took this one. Yeah, I'm just gonna oh. Can I just win here? Show and tell Dream Halls Intuition. Yeah, I can just win. With force backup. If they okay. They don't have a land, so yeah, I don't know how I could possibly lose. I think this is the first time we've gotten to do this, but Dream Halls is a very reasonable card to put into play with show and tell. You don't have a black card? Oh, that was unexpected. Spirit. I guess that makes this hand make a lot more sense. So I can force the Pyroblast. Dream Halls. Intuition can't cast Atraxa. So I'll just let this resolve. I'll take a slower route. We still have force. We still are incredibly not dead to the combo, because that is how my deck works. I mean, when they've seen Zonto, they should probably expect Emrakul. I think we can win in 2 turns. After draw, it's like a surgical. Wait, I said after draw. It must have meant before. Weird. Guess I just want to look at my deck. I think they must have known, because they did it after draw. That means that they knew my deck would have Oracle in it. They're just taking a look at my deck. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Such an incredibly good matchup. Because I'm gonna go for a Brainstorm. I don't want to show weakness and have them start parablasting my lands. And just hardcasting Dream Halls is a very reasonable route for this game to go. These cards hardcast Dream Halls. Pick up also the card to play off of Dream Halls. I'll just like destroy an Ancient Tomb. Okay. So obviously I want, I guess I lose the Saga, so I don't really lose the Saga. I lose a bunch of Power Blasts. They don't have red mana. Yeah, I can't lose this game. I'm not shuffling, so it doesn't really matter what I put on top. Oh, I guess I should put a non-blue card. No, everything's blue. Yeah, everything's blue. So actually I want to pick from any of the lands. I don't know. What's the card I don't want next turn? Force, force, force. This really doesn't matter. I win this game so many times over. I should stop putting so much thought into it. I'll put a backup bolus. Like that. So next turn, hardcast Dream Halls. Force backup. They don't have. Oops, that's not the right card. They don't have red mana. Yeah, Dream House has been so good this game. It's been my show and tell target, and then also now just gonna win the game on the hard cast. Um, I don't know how I can lose. I guess let's cast the sorcery speed. No, that doesn't make any sense. I could leave a force. I can lose one force for an intuition. I'll take Atraxa over Grizzlebrand. I could just Grizzlebrand. I don't really know actually which is better, honestly. You're thinking about I think Servant's actually a downside for Grindstone here because they literally cannot um mill a third target. It will always mill my entire library, including Emrakul. This is resolving. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna get for Atraxa here. I won't give him the choice to give me a Grizzlebrand. Wait, 3 Atraxa. And then I'll cast Atraxa to discard Nicopolis. I'm gonna assume that resolves. I don't think they have anything here. And if they do, they have saved it for way too long. Cool thing is Emrakul is a blue card right now. I think I only have one enchantment, one planeswalker, one sword. Oh no, it's 2 sorceries. And a land. Pretty easy to resolve one again. And we'll just win. Okay. Best matchup in the format. What did I cut last time? I cut a Grizzlebrand. Nicopolis will beat Saga, but everything in my deck beats Saga. I get it into play. Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with this. I think that's what I did last time. I don't really remember for sure. I really know they have to go for an aggro Saga hand or something. Um, maybe I should be setting Force out. It's not that good. Keep 7. I want a fast hand because they're gonna go to a Saga hand. That's how I think this works. Is this a fast hand? Not really. It's bad against Welder. I will just like yeah, Force doesn't actually do anything. Probably should have side out a Force. 2 Force. I'm not gonna mulligan a reasonable 7 though. You recognize Indian versus Saka hand. Painter on blue is that good for me here? Is an artifact for a Saka count? They are thinking about putting it not on blue because of my own forces. It's reasonable. I think they should just put it on blue. And my deck is almost 100% blue. No, they did not. Okay. Well, they had a pretty good start. That's nice for Dream Halls. There's no point in waiting on the Purdain until I can be Power Blasted. Not that I would mind if they Power Blasted by Purdain. But apply Power Blast. Oh, they won't Power Blast land because they put it on red. Just interesting. They're not playing Hydro Blast, I don't think. Do I think they can beat a Progenitus in play? I don't really want to get rid of Progenitus is the thing. I can just show and tell Progenitus, Force of Will back up next turn. Yeah, I guess that's just like a plan, isn't it? I cannot force pitch on land. Yeah, I'll draw show and tell. In case they like go for the combo next turn, I'd rather have Progenitus in the deck. I'm attacking for one. I'm gonna force Grave Hate. It's kind of weird because, Grave Hate doesn't actually stop Progenitus. But I only have one Progenitus left, so it'll only give me one turn. Which is not enough turns for Progenitus to kill. Oh, okay. What is this hand? Grindstone LED? But they realize that the combo doesn't kill me. So I don't know what they think they're gonna do here. I'm gonna let him make constructs, which is kind of risky. Constructs don't beat Progenitus. Yeah, I put a land in here, they can hit constructs, who cares? 10/10 protection from everything. I prefer Bolus here, I think. I'm really torn between Progenitus and Bolus. They're not putting anything in? Oh, okay, good. I'm just gonna do Progenitus. Okay, now that I didn't put something in that contributes to their combo, I don't know how I can possibly lose. Oh, their plan here is Grave Hate thingy. They don't have mana. They must have an LED in hand. I mean, if they're gonna win here, they have to have an LED in hand. So they do the Grave Hate. I don't think they realize Progenitus beats Grave here. Instead. Well, maybe their plan is they can buy a turn with life gain. It's hard to raise the Progenitus. Force a Goblin Welder here, I think. I mean, I have 2 forces. Goblin Engineer. Floating raises Saga mana. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to force this. Guess I'll pitch Restoration. I'm just not going to tap Ancient Tomb again. It's not worth it. Another force? If it had some blue, it had double force. Instead, I have single force. I won't ever put it on blue. Now they have it on red, probably. So I'll just play it all land. Burns the Method Shuffle is not good. So, yeah. Makes sense to do it that way. What could they have that could possibly beat me? Go for the combo here. Still lose to Progenitus. I have 1 left in my deck. I didn't board with power or anything. Yeah, they're gonna be disappointed when they realize the Progenitus beats Soul Guideline. Very disappointed. So yeah, it doesn't actually work like you think it does. So we'll win. This is like basically an unlosable matchup. It's pretty nice. This is a decent. This is a decent chunk of the meta. That just like I don't know how we possibly lose to. And that's a 5-0. I've been incredibly impressed with this deck. I really like it. I want to see how it plays against Delver. Delver has Power Blast very frequently and in a lot of numbers. So Delver probably is not the greatest matchup. Alright, let's do a little review of the deck. Grizzlebrand is definitely the most frequently boarded out card. I'm not sure I actually don't like it, or if it's just the worst payoff and you want this many payoffs. You could always just play more Pajamas from Nicol Bolas. In earlier versions of this deck, I had 4 Atraxa, 4 Pajamas, and I had Force of Vigor in the sideboard in place of some of these extra counter spells. And I liked that, but Pajamas had performed pretty poorly for me. I still think Pajamas isn't very good. I think Nicol Bolas is better than Pajamas enough the time that a split makes sense, and I think Grizzlebrand is better than both of them, except the fact that it's not blue. So I think all of this makes sense. As you saw there, I didn't really ever have any trouble actually winning once I got my dream halls or my uh, show and tell. I don't believe I ever lost a game. I didn't lose many games at all. The show and tell package is very powerful, and I think dream halls, Atraxa is probably just the way to be doing it right now. It's just more consistent, harder to interact with. Um, yeah, the deck felt insanely good. I'm not sold on my sideboard. I'm definitely not. I think Ranmir is probably not a bad matchup for this deck, and against Ranmir, their plan is to have your own show and tells put in stuff. So not great. Maybe Surgical doesn't make sense in that context. Subtlety, I think, is just initiative is enough of the meta that it's just a requirement. Uh, yeah, it's definitely Seiju is never good. It's never bad. I never drew it. So it didn't cost me any games, didn't earn me any games. It's good against control decks. This deck is just in general good against control decks, so having 8 like win when they resolve cards, all these cantrips and all this interaction is a pretty great recipe against control decks. Yeah, it's a very, very interesting deck. I think it has a place in the meta. Alright, that's Legacy Dream Halls in the year of 2023.